Welcome back to a new FPL video. In this video, I've managed to put together a team with both the premium assets in Fantasy League this year, Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah. Hopefully it can inspire you if you're looking at getting both of these players in your Fantasy League team at the start of the Premier League season. Let's get into the video. So we're going to start in goal with the very popular Caoimhin Kelleher, 32.2% owned as I make the video. And a decent run of opening fixtures. Forest away, Aston Villa at home, Sunderland away. And he rotates quite well with a few of the £4.5 million goalkeepers. It's not exclusively to Kelleher. You can easily go for any of the other available 4.5 million goalkeepers. There are plenty. There's Jose Sarr, Areola, as I look here, Verbruggen, Petrovic, it's who you fancy. For me, and I think a lot of the FPL community, Kelleher is the £4.5 million goalkeeper to go with. Move on to the defence. So starting here with Murillo at Nottingham Forest, who's 5.5 million. He opens with Brentford at home, and then a good run of opening 6 fixtures, which involves Crystal Palace, West Ham, Arsenal away, not great, but then Burnley and Sunderland after that. He's somebody you can sit in your team for the first 6 games and not really worry about at all. And you don't really have to worry him against Arsenal because of the main reason he's in this team, and that is he's a defensive contributions monster. So you think get a tough game away at Arsenal, he should be able to easily clean up with those defensive contribution points. He's neck and neck, but he does slightly edge out Milenkovic in the defensive contributions. That's why I've gone with him over Milenkovic. Some people prefer Milenkovic for the attacking threat. If you prefer him, he can easily be swapped out. It's not going to affect your budget in any way. But I've gone with Murillo in this draft. Moving on then to Richards. I think this is a player who's picking up a bit of steam and a bit more interest in the FPL community. He's not got the greatest opening fixture, and you could easily swap him with one of the options I've put on the bench. But again, another defensive contributions king, really. And only at 4.5 million. And Palace looking promising in pre-season. They have looked really good. So I think he's gone a little bit under the radar. If I just check his ownership here right now, 0.7% I've got on here. I think he could be a fantastic option, especially with Palace always playing, and if they continue that way, playing 3 at the back. He's got 3 centre-back slots to get in every week, so he should be a nailed-on starter as well. Then after that, we're moving on to Wan-Bissaka, a popular player this year because of the price he has come in at 4.5 and the role he's playing as that sort of attacking wing back in the West Ham team. Now, my only worry is with Kyle Walker-Peters coming in. Whether he'll start to take minutes off Wan-Bissaka, that remains to be seen, or if he is just literally a backup to him. But this last season was his best for attacking contributions by far. And he is really turning into that. He's really improving his attacking game, which wasn't always his strength at Manchester United or Crystal Palace. But because of his tenacious defending, he is very good on the contribution points also. Another option you could go with is Max Kilman at West Ham. He'll be potentially more nailed for those defensive contributions, especially when you're looking at clearances. He's a big, tall centre-back, and West Ham do come under a little bit of pressure in their games. But it depends what upside you're chasing. If you want those assists and potential attacking returns, then maybe go for a Wan-Bissaka. If you really want those nailed defensive contributions, maybe Kilman. But don't underestimate Wan-Bissaka in trying to get those defensive contributions. Let's move on to the midfield. So the ever popular Morgan Rogers in first. He's in just about a quarter of FPL teams so far. 7 million, respectable price, obviously gone up from his 5 million from last year. But a good run of opening fixtures for Aston Villa with Newcastle at home, Brentford away, Crystal Palace at home, and then Everton away, Sunderland away, Fulham at home. So they don't actually face what you'd call any of the old school big six in the opening 6 games. And he's nailed for minutes. You know, we saw that last year. He was the one midfielder you could guarantee was going to get just about the 90 minutes every week. And with last season being a breakout season for him, I think he can only kick on, potentially even match and better last season. So I think that's a good start for 7 million in this midfield. Obviously Salah then in the midfield, and then also I've gone with Iliman Ndiaye at 6.5 million for Everton. He scored against Manchester United before recording this video in the 2-2 draw over in Atalanta. And then obviously we know he should be on penalties, and for 6.5 million to have a penalty taker seems really good value. And again, it was a sort of another real breakout season, so I think he could be a really, really good option, and he will only kick on this season as well. Then next up, lastly in the midfield, the starting midfield, it's a player I've really been, what can I say? I was looking forward to seeing his price, and I have shouted about him in a couple of my videos before, but it's Kevin Schade. Now, he's not the price I wanted. I wanted 6.5, if I was being honest, at the absolute max. But his returns last season did go under the radar at Brentford because of Mbeumo and Wissa. And I do feel that he's ready to take on the mantle from Mbeumo, obviously on the left wing. Top of my head, 11 goals, 4 assists last season. And if he can kick on from that, he can represent real good value for 7 million. Again, the Brentford fixtures, they're a solid run as well. Not perfect, but pretty good. With Forest, Villa, Sunderland, Chelsea, Fulham and Man United in the opening 6. There's potential for some attacking returns there. I think we want to see, I will be honest, how much the Brentford team is affected by all the changes, managerial and player personnel. But he could represent value, and he is sort of my wild card for this season. If you fancied going with another sort of player, you could drop him down to another 6.5 midfielder. And and you could put that money somewhere else in the team. But that's what I've gone with for this draft template. Let's move on to the strikers. So up top, obviously Erling Haaland we start with. Alongside him we've got Jørgen Strand Larsen at 6.5 million, which again could represent real good value. Penalties remain to be seen at Wolves. He might not have them, but 14 goals, all of them non-penalty goals last season. I think if he can match those numbers again for 6.5 million, considering the players in that price range and below, that would be hellishly good value once again for Jørgen Strand Larsen. It's a mix of fixtures. So he opens against Erling Haaland. They play at home to Manchester City. But then they have Bournemouth, Everton and Leeds all in their opening 6 around fixtures with Newcastle and Spurs. So even if you have him as a sort of rotation in a team and you play a 3-5-2 and you can swap him with your bench midfielder, for example, or you just start him and you trust him against teams like Man City, which, especially on an opening day, there's no reason he can't score. So I think he would be a solid option. Then we move on to the final striker position, and that's João Pedro, who I've got currently. I don't feel he will be a minute's risk. I don't think he'll play 90 minutes almost every week. It's quite likely he'll come off, but he does have that flexibility where he could be dropped back if they brought on Liam Delap. I just don't know. Maybe you're better off with going like with a Solanke if he's fit. But there's a few striker options which are becoming, which we all thought were a good option to have at the start of the season. But now we're sort of having cold feet with them. João Pedro might be one of them. But at Crystal Palace at home, I think he will start. I think he will be the first choice number 9. I think a lot of Chelsea fans feel that way as well. I do think he'll be a really good option, especially when you consider Chelsea's opening fixtures as well. Looking here, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, Manchester United and Brighton. It's another solid run. You know, Chelsea players we are looking at not only for their quality and how well they played in the Club World Cup, but because of those opening fixtures. I think we're all well aware how good they are. So, if you fancy a Solanke, you could easily swap him out. But for me, I think João Pedro, just be aware he's likely not going to play 90 minutes most weeks. So, a quick look at the bench then. I've gone with Petrovic as the rotation goalkeeper. I've gone with the two 4.5 million rotation goalkeepers. Again, you could potentially drop him down to a Kinski for 4 million. He did start the recent, I think it was Newcastle. He started in that game recently in pre-season, which potentially further backs that he might just start over Vicario, and he could be potential value at 4 million. But at the moment, just for the safe play, I've done the old 4.5 million rotation. And like I said before, there's plenty of other 4.5 million goalkeepers if you would prefer to choose them. Then moving on, somebody who I haven't actually seen mentioned, and that's why I've put him in this draft. Not many people have mentioned him. At only 5 million as well, is Papi Sarr at Tottenham. This has also further been boosted by the James Maddison injury, but from what I've seen, he's been playing sort of more of an attacking midfielder role under the new manager Thomas Frank for Spurs, and I think he's had a couple of returns as well in pre-season. He's also because of it, he's originally a defensive and box-to-box midfielder. He can also pick up a few defensive contributions, you would hope. So, one to look out for, with Maddison injured, if he plays that attacking role, he could just represent really good value for 5 million. It's just somebody I wanted to put on your radar right now, and it also frees up a little bit of budget for this team to get Salah and Haaland in. But be aware of Papi Sarr. That's all I'll say right now. Then moving on to Van Heck at Brighton. I haven't seen too many Brighton defenders mentioned, apart from the new fullback, De Kuiper, I think his name is. They haven't got the greatest set of opening fixtures. They've got Fulham, Everton, Man City, Bournemouth, Spurs, Chelsea. It's not great. But there are there's a few games in there that you would happily play him in and rotate him with maybe even Richards for the opening game. You could just play for those defensive contributions points and hope Crystal Palace don't concede many against Chelsea. Or you could bring in Van Heck and aim for those clean sheet points against Fulham. Who knows? But that's he gives you an option, and he does rotate quite nicely with a couple of his players and Wan-Bissaka included in that. And then finally, just needed a 4 million defender. Everybody seems to be liking Esteve. I think that's how you say it. Not much to say about him really. I don't think we're going to be playing him too much. He's there if we need him. He has got Sunderland at home in game week 2. So if you fancy him in that game, that might be one time you could play him. In my team, I'm looking at Leeds and I'm looking for like a Joe Rodon. He has been playing all of pre-season and certainly a lot of last season. So if that can continue, and I'll continue to monitor it, maybe you want to go for a Rodon with slightly better fixtures overall for Leeds and potential of defensive contribution points, as he's a big, tall centre-back and you're aiming for those clearances again. So, yeah, I don't want to go too much into the 4 million defenders again, but you take your pick. But I've gone with Esteve in this draft. And then, obviously, as you can see, I've gone with Salah captain against Bournemouth. Putting Haaland on the vice-captain role. You can switch that, but I don't like to bet against Salah on the opening day of the season. So that's the way I would play the Salah and Haaland draft. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it give you a bit of inspiration of how you can fit in Salah and Haaland. Maybe give you a few ideas for some players you haven't considered yet as well. So if it did, and it did help you out a bit, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and notifications and join the journey. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, which will likely be my updated draft, which is probably long overdue. And there has been a few changes, so you want to stay around for that. So I'll see you in that next video, and take care.